Hello and welcome. In this session, we will see the disaster recovery concept for PostgreSQL in Google Cloud. And as usual, we have everything mentioned in a notepad and we will go through it. So, disaster recovery means the disaster has already happened and you are not able to access your PostgreSQL and you need some alternate so that your Postgre can run over there and it can provide the access to the application. So, in Cloud SQL for PostgreSQL, the disaster recovery is how do you continue processing the data to your application when one of the region which is holding your PostgreSQL is unavailable. So in short, the managed instance of PostgreSQL in any cloud and Google, those are regional instances also. They are regional services only. In case you have made it only to that particular region, and if the region is not available, there is some kind of a natural calamity or disaster, or due to some XYZ reason, they are not able to cater your requirement. In that case, you need some alternate. So that's all about the disaster recovery. So there are different things which are available. We talk about the high availability. We talk about the replica as well. Those are the two things which are going to help us in all the scenario. So if the Google Cloud region that has the PostgreSQL database instance, if that becomes unavailable, that means the disaster has happened and you need some alternate. To overcome this situation, you need to have two things. One is the DR plan, so that your PostgreSQL can, if it is already have the cross-region read replica, you fail over to that, and your cross-region read replica will be your primary, and that will cater the need of the application. Or there may be a failover based on your export and import that is going to take a long time, and that is not good for the large size database. In case you wanted to make your plan in such a way that one disaster has already happened, I'm going to prepare something after that or during that time, then it's not going to work out. You have to prepare in advance. So there are a couple of scenarios wherein we can talk about the cross-region failover configuration. So it all depends upon the SLA. If the SLA of the application is greater than your regional cloud SQL SLA, which is 99.5 percent, then by failing to the another region, you can avoid an outage. So you need to configure your PostgreSQL high availability in such a way that the other region is available for you to give the managed instance. So there is another option also. If you all the tires of your application, they are multi-regional. So that, what does that mean? That means their availability is not confined to one region. Even though one of the region is down where your instance or your services are located, you will continue to work from the other region. So cross-region failover configuration is good to have in cloud environment. So you need to talk about the required recovery time objective, which is RTO, and recovery point objective. So if your RTO and RPO, they are in minutes, and which is good for the, and that's a requirement for the business application. And if you cannot hold it for hours, then failing over to the another region will be better, which will be faster than recreating a database. That may take its own time depending upon several factors. We'll talk about the types of the DR process. So when a database fails over to a secondary region, and the database can be available for the application. So it is like failing over the new primary is not available because that is impacted by the disaster, and the standby that is available for catering the need of the application. So it is basically the database fails over to a secondary region. Uh, but in case you wanted to fail back to your primary region when the region has what do you say, it has become healthier again, then you can do that. So there is another way also. There is another part of this also, which talks about uh, your primary region. Your primary region is closer to your application. Just giving a scenario, and you wanted to have your application running only in your on your primary region because you that's better in terms of the network latency and other factors. So when the your primary region is available again, you will like to fail back to your primary region only. So let's talk about the DR architecture. So your DR architecture supports your HA, which is high availability, and it talks about there are two instances of PostgreSQL. There is one primary instance, they and another standby instance. They are located in two different zones in one particular region, and these instances are synchronized. I'll show the diagram also, which I have taken from uh, Google Cloud, and they are being synchronized using the persistent disk. The other one is one instance of the Cloud SQL is located in another region using the cross-region read replica. So we have two things over here. One is the standby instance, which is being synchronized using the persistent disk, and the another is cross-region read replica, which may have some sort of lag. So uh, the second part, which is about the cross-region read replica, that always lags behind the primary instance. So whenever a failover occurs, the cross-region read replica might support and some sort of lag from your primary. So let's talk about the basic DR process. In the basic DR process, the primary region becomes unavailable, and the primary instance fails over to resume the processing from a secondary region. The DR process, it can be invoked manually or it may happen automatically, or also to mitigate the regional failure, and you will have an instance of PostgreSQL running in the secondary region. So basically, it is the primary region which is running the primary instance. Let us say it is it is R1, and because of some regional disaster, it is acknowledged that uh, there is no way that you can recover. So in that case, you have to fail over. So if a failover is required, the cross-region read replica in the secondary region is made the new primary instance. And the client connections are reconfigured to resume processing on the new primary instance. And they access the primary instance in the another region. So let me show you the diagram which is available. This is your basic DR for PostgreSQL. You have Cloud SQL proxy through which you are going to connect. You have the region R1. You have two zones, Zone A and Zone B. This is your primary, this is your standby, and they are getting replicated through the persistent disk. But if you have another um, region wherein you wanted to have the read replica, so it is the same region, region 1, having multiple zones, zone A, zone B, and zone C. And if this is unavailable, then you have to come to this to cater your requirement. But if everything, the entire region is not available, in that case, it is a complete disaster. The design is not good. The other way is you have multiple zones in a particular region, and you have the HA high availability, where in the two instances, they are continuously getting replicated using the persistent disk, and you have a read replica also available in the same zone. And if everything is impacted, this all will go away. But in case you have the another region available with the multiple zones, so that in that case you can fail over to another region using the uh, read replicas. So that is being supported, and from there, if you wanted to configure the entire stuff again, then you can create the another HA from there, and you can configure the read replicas from there just to continue working with the DR setup. So this all basic how the DR works, and it is almost same in you talk about any cloud. It is good to have the setup ready in advance so that when disaster happens, you will be least impacted. I hope this is going to help, and thank you.